social universe, and in many cases, the secrets of the universe itself. We did not mention one of our sponsors in our previous segment, so we've got to make sure we mention Crescendo. Crescendo is rated in the top 10 in the world, but located here in Arizona for web design and SEO, and they do a wonderful job providing analysis of sites. They will provide a free analysis for anybody who gives them a call if they go to the website at www.crescendo.com, and we want to thank them for sponsoring our show and occasionally providing phone systems for our guests. We also wanted to welcome again Pamela Young from the Young Agency, so welcome back.
Hi, thank you.
You're very welcome. And Crystal, I'm again going to have you take over and talk a little bit about from a young person aspiring to become a model. How does someone go from that vision? Obviously, Pamela went from the vision of being a young woman, being a model, and then to creating an agency. But to a young woman who wants to get involved and know a little bit about Pamela, I'm going to turn the time over to Crystal to help us learn a little bit more about Pamela herself.
Okay, I'm just really interested as far as how all this came about. I mean, I know initially it began during childhood. And so tell us about your childhood and your upbringing.
Okay, well, I am a preacher's daughter, and my father served in the United States Air Force, so we traveled quite a bit, and I was the new kid every year. So that set me up to be very shy and very quiet. And but I learned how to reinvent myself, because every time we moved, I could leave the past behind, and what didn't work, then I could bring something forward that was positive or a change. And so my father retired in Phoenix, Arizona, and I always tease him he left us in the desert. But as a preacher's daughter, and my mother being a preacher's wife, it was very strict in our home. And so one of the things was that dating was very limited, and so we were married early. And so I was about to be married at age 18, and the story goes, my husband said, "You're really kind of cute, but you're such a tomboy. Do you want to try that modeling thing?" And so there were 2 modeling schools in Phoenix, Arizona back then, and I enrolled and just absolutely fell in love with modeling, and my self-esteem soared behind it, and it was just a great place for me.
That's amazing. So as far as being raised, and where do your inspirations come from?
Well, I always say I have a rich dad, poor dad. My mom was always stay in school, get an 8 to 5, and my dad was a dreamer, and I'm a dreamer. And so just driven by my family. We're very close. My older sister worked with me for 10 years, and my brother is a corporate attorney on the East Coast, and so those are her 3 children, and they all are very successful.
That's amazing.
Thank you.
Well, that's great. I do know that for example, I have 2 sons that are very, very good looking. Obviously, we blame that on my wife, but we actually were very good friends with some Hollywood models, and probably the only real fight I ever got into with them was that I didn't want my sons to model, and they were blonde, blue-eyed, and when you're younger, he even had a little gap in his tooth that was just normally would be but it was endearing and made him so cute, and he was very energetic, and they're like, don't you understand that an energetic child, a lot of energy, that's what they want, as opposed, then they can just take a lot of pictures, as opposed to trying to get a child to just sit there all the time. That's not what they were looking for. But I said, well, you know what, I don't want them to model. I was being conservative as a parent. So if I had known there was someone who had grown up as a preacher's daughter who owned an agency, I would probably feel very very comfortable. So again, if there are any parents out there that are wondering, should we take that leap, and we have a couple of energetic, fun, beautiful children that may be worthwhile. It may be worthwhile for them to reach out, because it's a great way. It's both humbling, and modeling not only is humbling, but at the same time gives a great sense of accomplishment and self-esteem at the same time. So it's some honing.
Yes.
Go
Yeah,
ahead.
and I'm really pleased to be in the industry now, but yeah, I had some times when I wondered, okay, is this my calling? Is this what I'm supposed to do? And, we watch out for our kids in the regard that now we are branching out into Los Angeles and New York.
Great.
And I meet out there every January in LA. For a week we meet with about 200 agents, and we're there during pilot season for the entire week.
Amazing.
And
now I want to emphasize that you want to work. There are so many agencies that come in and say, "Hey, I'm an agent," but do they actually have the ability to place that? Could you talk a little bit about that?
Yeah, that's a great question. And although we have captured the local market, if you will, that is part of why we're branching out now and for the last few years into the Los Angeles market. And what I do there is go and make friends.
Sure.
And so basically, while I'm networking, it gives me a chance to meet someone. For example, I have a good friend named Sandy who has worked the European market for 30 years.
Wow.
So at one time I would never consider sending a teenager out there, with all the fears of a passport being taken or what have you. Now I have a very, very good friend who I trust enough to stay at her place when I'm visiting, when I'm traveling, and she can come in, look at my models, talk with their parents, let them know her contacts, and these children, these teenagers, can go over to the European market and work the summer and make anywhere from 30, 50,000, build their book and learn go-sees and work the summer and experience the modeling industry.
Amazing. Now, what's not to like about that? All expense paid. Way better than that. Not only is it you get paid to
Yes.
go. So that's absolutely amazing. So I definitely would recommend, especially because the Young Agency is headquartered here locally, approximately 24th and Camelback. Is that
28th
correct?
Street and Camelback, southeast corner, and then we do have open call weekly,
Oh.
where they come in and meet with my agency director. His name is Stephen Smith, and he tells them about the Young Agency, how we got started, what our goals are. There's very, it's a warm atmosphere. We like for you to RSVP first and give us a call or go online and fill out an application, attach a photo. But our talent coordinator will get back to you and set that up. But it's a chance for you to know who we are, see our success stories again that are on the lobby, ask questions, find out more about us and how we can work together. And ultimately the goal is to have the agency sign you and work for you.
That's great. Now, speaking of being able to contact you, give us your website again.
www.theyoungagency.com.
And don't forget the THE. It's
Yeah,
theyoungagency.com. And when you get there, go about 4 tabs over, and you'll be able to see where it says "Be Discovered," and that might be the moment of truth that changes your life forever.
Yeah, I'm excited because, again, some people want to work in the local market only, and we can serve them in that regard. But there's some people who may be ready to go into the Los Angeles or New York market, and within the last few years we have branched out in that area so that we can network them with agents who can actually book them into Disney and other things that they aspire to do.
Right, very good point. I think this is just a no-lose situation to have a modeling agency that is has ethics, that is accredited with the Better Business Bureau, that has leadership with ethics, and so that if you are wondering if your young child, your wife, your girlfriend, or maybe you are the boyfriend and you're the one out there, any questions can be brought to Pamela or her very competent staff, and you'll be able to know that they're leading you in a direction of real career. There are so many dead ends that occur in the modeling agencies. People who claim that they're a modeling agent, or just come over to my house, get shoot some amazing photo shots in my garage.
There's something
be
I wanna
aware.
put in right there is that in the state of Arizona,
Mhm.
you have to be a licensed and bonded agent to use the word agency.
Oh,
So if
very
you see
good.
something that says modeling group,
Uh-huh.
modeling company, then beware. Licensed and bonded
Mhm.
is where you want to go.
Absolutely.
And the other thing is, if a company is using the word agent or agency without
Mhm.
being licensed and bonded, it is a Class 6 felony, punishable by jail time in the state
My
of Arizona.
goodness. And there are real reasons why. I mean,
Mhm.
because you get led down those paths. I worked in Hollywood there for a while, and they need to have some extra special laws hanging around like that around
Yes.
Hollywood, because there's just so
mhm.
many people with empty
Yes.
promises that don't go
Right.
anywhere.
Mhm.
And I would love to say that the worst thing that happened is that they don't fulfill the promises of success or career. Sometimes it's worse than that. So again, I brought the young agency on, selected the young agency, because I wanted to be able to share with all of our listeners that if you were thinking that modeling would be a future career for you, that the young agency is a very legitimate, respectable agency that will take you on the career path that you would like to go.
Absolutely, and the timing is right also. On November 17th, we will be teaming up with IMTA, which is the International Model and Talent Association,
Wow.
and their president will be here at an audition we'll be holding, and those people we will select to take into Los Angeles
Mhm.
in January 2013 or New York in July to meet with hundreds of agents. And
Wow.
IMTA is directly responsible for the successful careers of actors such as Ashton Kutcher,
Uh-huh.
Katie Holmes,
Mhm.
Jessica Biel. The latest would be Ashley Greene of the Twilight Saga.
Gotcha.
So, it's a very prestigious organization. We've teamed up with them within just the last few years, basically because we have been in business 17 years.
Mhm.
IMTA has been in business about 25 years, bringing models and agents and actors together. And again, we go into Los Angeles and spend the entire week there during pilot season.
Amazing.
So it's a chance for me to network with those companies and agents and producers and directors so that I can know which direction to send my talent and their parents and coach them in the right direction so that we can bring good people into Hollywood.
Yeah, absolutely. Which is another amazing pathway for you to be able to go, again, in a legitimate fashion. You always want to be able to know that you're not just having empty promises. Now, don't get me wrong. Just because you have an agreement with an agency doesn't mean that you're going to become the next Gwyneth Paltrow. But you at least have the best legitimate chance.
Yeah, and I'm glad you brought that up because some people do live unrealistic, delusional, that just because they are so cute, they can just walk into Hollywood. It is a lot of hard work.
Mhm.
It is competitive. It's tenacity that gets the person where they need to be. They knock on a lot of doors, and it's networking and caution to the pushy parent, because that'll squash your career very quickly. And the agents, we all network behind the scenes.
Mhm.
So we know which parent to watch out for. And I have been in my hotel room and gotten a call from a producer who said, I have just canceled your kid.
Mm.
The parent, I can't take her another minute. It's been all day in my ear.
I guess it's the opposite of me as a parent. It's the honey boo boos that are pushing pushing through those doors. So yes, it works both ways.
It works both ways.
Well, great. Well, it's been a lot of fun having you on the segment. When we come back, we are from break. We are going to be talking more along these same lines of what the young agency can do for you as a model, as an actress, or for your children in the same way. So don't go away. You have tuned into the Social Universe here on Voice America. We thank you for listening, and don't go away. We'll be right back after the break.